Sairam students, in the previous video, we learnt about the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. In this video, we are going to learn about the next part of the cell, which is cell wall. So, what is cell wall? Cell wall is the outermost covering of the plant cells. Here we have a plant cell and we can see the cell wall which is forming the outermost covering. Can you see this dark green outer covering? That is the cell wall. Cell wall is the outermost covering of the plant cells. The cell wall lies outside the plasma membrane. In the previous videos, we learned that the outermost covering of any cell is the cell membrane or plasma membrane. In case of plant cells, cell wall is the outermost covering. It is found outside the plasma membrane. The plant cell has a plasma membrane and the cell wall is present around the plasma membrane, thus forming the outermost covering of plant cells only. Cell wall is absent in animal cells. Animal cells do not have cell wall. It is very important, students. You should remember that cell wall is present only in plant cells. Cell wall is a rigid, strong, porous, and non living structure. It is a rigid, strong, porous, and a non living structure. It is not living, it is a non living structure. So, what is this cell wall made up of? The plant cell wall is made up of cellulose. Cellulose is a non living substance. So, the cell wall is made up of cellulose, and cellulose is a complex substance and provides structural strength to plants. So, what is the plant cell wall made up of? It is made up of a substance called cellulose, and cellulose provides structural strength to the plants. Cell wall of two cells are joined by a layer of lamella. So we know that all living organisms consist of multiple cells. All large organisms contain many cells, and in plant cells, the cell walls of two cells are joined by a layer of lamella. In this diagram, we can see over here we have one plant cell, and here is another plant cell, and this layer in between is the lamella. The lamella joins the two cell walls of different cells. Okay? Over here we can see more clearly, students. We can see the cell wall of the plant cell. We can even see the plasma membrane. And over here we can see that two plant cells have been joined by the lamella in the middle. Okay, students? So, what are the functions of cell wall? We learnt about the structure of cell wall. We learnt that it is made up of a substance known as cellulose, and we learnt that it is non-living, and we learnt that it is found only in plant cells. Now let us look at some of the functions of cell wall. It provides definite shape to the cell. It provides a definite shape to the cell. It provides structural strength to the cell. We already learnt this. The cellulose provides structural strength to the cell. It provides protection to the internal contents of the cell. We learned that the cell wall is the outermost covering of the plant cell, and it protects the internal contents of the cell. All the contents and components which are present inside the cell are protected by the cell wall, and it is freely permeable. It allows substances of different sizes to enter the cell. We know that the plasma membrane is not freely permeable. What is it? It is selectively permeable. It only allows certain substances to enter the cell, whereas the cell wall is freely permeable. It allows substances of different sizes to enter the cell. So these are the functions of cell wall. It provides a definite shape to the cell. It provides structural strength to the cell. It provides protection to the internal contents of the cell, and it is freely permeable. It allows substances of different sizes to enter the cell. Did you understand, students? Shall we summarize what we have learned? In this video, we learnt about the cell wall. We learnt that the cell wall is present in plant cells and it forms the outermost covering of plant cells. It is absent in animal cells. It is not there. It cannot be found in animal cells. And cell wall is made up of a complex chemical substance known as cellulose. Cellulose is the non-living substance and it forms the outermost covering. The cell wall is made up of a complex chemical substance known as cellulose. And the functions of cell wall: it provides a definite shape to the cell, it provides protection to the internal contents of the cell, it provides strength to the cell, and it is freely permeable. Here are some questions, and go through the videos and write the answers in your notebooks. Okay, students? First question. Cell wall is made up of a complex chemical substance called dash. Second question. List the functions of cell wall. And the third question. Is cell wall present in animal cells? Okay, students? Thank you. Sai Ram.